Di sini ada Julia yang dari Signify ya. Dia adalah the owner and CEO of Signify. Jadi Bapak mungkin tolong di mute semuanya ya. Yang Firda tolong di mute ya pada participants. Jadi selamat malam sekali lagi yang Bapak Ibu yang sudah hadir di webinarnya Seller Up Academy dan Signify malam hari ini ya. Jadi hari ini kita ada tamu spesial yaitu Julia dari Signify ya. Dia adalah CEO dari Signify yang sudah adalah partner official Amazon ya untuk membantu para seller melakukan sourcing. Jadi nanti saya bakal berbahasa Inggris ya Bapak Ibu ya malam hari ini dengan komunikasi sama Julia. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan, tulis aja nanti saya bantu translate buat Bapak Ibu yang ada di sini. Nanti kita bakal ada juga sesi Q&A sesudah sesinya Julia. Jadi Bapak Ibu, mari kita hadirkan kita punya speaker malam hari ini yaitu Julia. Hi Julia, sorry for very long introduction in Indonesian. Yeah,
terima kasih.
Yes, okay. So basically, yeah, we just want to welcome you, and I already introduced you. You are actually the CEO or the owner, the founder of the Signify. And we will discuss about how to find product or make our sellers, our Indonesian sellers who sells on Amazon, finds product easily. Basically, to find a very, we said basically the supplier is really hard basically with a good price and of course reliable relationship. Yeah, we have to maintain in the long run. So maybe I told them if they have any Q questions, we will answer them at the end of our webinar. So for now, maybe you can start your presentation.
Sounds good. Okay. I think, hello, everybody. Good evening from very, very hot Germany. It's 31 degrees Celsius in here, as hot as in Indonesia. But usually, when I go to Indonesia, I go somewhere with water. I love, Gili Islands, Gili Trawangan, Air, Meno, Lombok. So that's my my stamping ground. And of course, as all of the foreigners, Ubud and Jakarta is not my favorite place, but I go there from time to time for work, so it's always nice. Yeah, oh, Gili, hello. Shall I share my presentation or yeah, I'll share mine. Let me.
Before that, we are going to show your Signify video first.
Okay. Oh, we have a video. I didn't know. That's amazing. That's wonderful. Oh, cool. Cool, awesome. I actually knew this video. I lied. I thought there was something different, so oops. Okay, so can I share my presentation now? Awesome.
Sure, yes, please.
All right. Where are you? Where are you? Wait, I have it open here. Just a second, please. Here we go. Tell me if you can see it.
Yes, I think we can see it, Julia. You can start your presentation now.
That's wonderful. All right, guys. So I don't want to be too boring. And honestly, this is the type of topic that you can discuss for many, many hours. Some of you may know there is a guy. He's in US. His name is Brandon Yan, and he also has a big community. He has like dealing with advertising and stuff like this. So I gave a 3-hour webinar in his community, right? And we just kind of scratched on product sourcing. So today we will look at kind of most important parts that might be familiar to some of you, but might not be familiar to others. So there's some basic information, but also a little bit more in depth, meaning some things that when you turn off the computer and go to sleep and then wake up tomorrow and you decide to do product sourcing on your own, you can do this. From my side, I always like to give tips and tricks, which people can literally do on their own. So to tell you if this works, which it doesn't, there we go. So to tell you first a little bit about myself and why am I allowed to talk about product sourcing in the first place. I have been working in product sourcing for the last 19 years. I am older than I look. I think I've been living in Asia for such a long time that I think, I will look like I'm 30 or 28 until the age of like 65, and then I will look like I'm 90. Right. So I've been working in procurement, in sourcing, category management for the last 19 years. I spent 9 years living in China. Then I spent a few years in Singapore. I did my MBA there, and I continued working for the Chinese company that I previously worked for. Then I was a digital nomad in Indonesia and in Philippines for about a year. This was 2014, so it was before digital nomading became a very fancy, cool thing to do. So, we did it a very long time ago. And then me and my husband, we rode on a motorcycle from Singapore to Germany for about 7 or 8 months. I've been based in Germany now for 7 years. We do a lot of travel. I'm in Asia a lot. Just recently I got back. I spent about 2 months there. China, Hong Kong, Singapore, more China, more China. Me and my husband, we actually sell on Amazon ourselves. We've been selling for the last 10 years. We started in 2014, and the story how we started is a absolutely different story. It's very funny. Let's just put it this way. My husband was very annoying and he needed something to do. So, I found Amazon for him. Currently, we actually have 2 brands. One brand, the products for one brand, we're manufacturing in China, in India, and in Germany. And the second brand is fully made in Germany. Our products, we don't only sell on Amazon, we also sell them in retail. So if you go to a big supermarket, you can find us. We also have our own Shopify store. So, diversification is extremely important when you're in e-commerce. This is why a lot of Amazon sellers, when you see them start on Amazon and they see good potential growth and they see that they're solid, they like to switch or to diversify to other avenues. So I am the founder of Zignify Global Product Sourcing. Officially, our company is going to be 3 years old in August this year. In 3 years, we grew from me, one person, one very young girl, to 60 plus women, plus my husband. So it's an all-female company. No, we didn't do it on purpose. It just kind of happened like this in the from the start. And my husband later on joined me in this venture. I consult for Alibaba a lot and for companies like this because they don't always understand how to properly respond to all of you, for example, to people who are coming with the inquiries, even though you would think, hey guys, you've been working since the 90s, you should kind of know, but they don't. And in total, we own 5 different companies. So it's the brands, it's Zignify, and we have a few other businesses. So for probably like for the most of you, 24 hours in a day is not enough. we need a little bit more, but you make do with what you have. So product sourcing was never my intention, or starting a sourcing company was never my intention. The Corona crisis really brought potential opportunities for me and for us. So a lot of my old customers, when China started to close down, they started coming to me and saying, please help, China is closed. What are we going to do? We're losing money. So I started reaching out into other countries, including Indonesia. Actually, Indonesia right now is one of my go-to countries. I'm promoting it for manufacturing like crazy. So we went to Indonesia, we went to Turkey, we went to Germany, we started going into many different countries, and it kind of went from there. So it became, I hated it when I was young, and I never thought I will work in this, but now I kind of like it. It's actually kind of fun, especially when you know as much as I do by now. All right, enough about me. What is product sourcing? And can I make money in product sourcing? I'm not trying to sell you a course that you can do product sourcing on your own. No. So sourcing is basic, right? You have a physical product, or you need to have to buy a physical product, and you need to find a manufacturer or a wholesaler or a distributor to actually get this product. So this is basic, right? We all have the basic understanding. But a lot of people who sell on Amazon, or honestly in any other business, they lack the understanding that you first make your money in sourcing. I will give you a very, very easy example. I think I have it here. Yes, I actually placed it here. This is, the numbers look large, right? $240,000, $170,000. Maybe a lot of you are not there yet. Maybe you're starting out. But I just want to show you what is out there in terms of what numbers out there. And even if your first purchasing order is only for $1,000, what if you can pay $900 for it instead of $1,000? $100 can go a long way, especially when you're starting your business. I know this very well, because when I started my business, when I was started with Zignify, I was counting every cent. I was counting every dollar, and I would not, spend anything without thinking. Now this is the case as well. So take a look at this beautiful jewelry. This brand is called Vasir. You can check them out online. It's VACIER, vasir.com. This is owned by a gentleman from Norway. He actually lives in Thailand. He doesn't have a big company. He doesn't have many people working for him. He does not sell on Amazon. But I still decided to give this example for you, because it's not about where you sell, it's about how you buy. So he has been purchasing his product for quite some time from his manufacturer. And his next order was coming up. And the total value of the order, of the money that he should have paid to his manufacturer, should have been $240,000. This is insane. I mean, this guy makes millions, right? If he buys for 240K, that must mean he makes millions. He wanted to see if there are any other potential opportunities of him optimizing his costs, right? And this is what we're talking about, making money in sourcing. It's about optimizing your costs, optimizing your supply chain. So we started working with this guy, and we reached out to a few other manufacturers, right? To talk to them, to see how everything is, what are the prices. But then it became interesting, because the prices from the competitors were so much lower than from his original manufacturer. And we're like, okay, whether his original manufacturer is really taking advantage of him because he doesn't know much about sourcing, even though, he's been buying from this one company for such a long time, or we are really bad at sourcing and we're giving the wrong instructions to the manufacturers. It was the first one, right? We ended up ordering samples from 3 or 4 different manufacturers and comparing those samples to the original product that he produces with the manufacturer. And with this result, with this result. We went to the original manufacturer, because when you have, and this is one thing for you to remember and to note very well, if you already have a good manufacturer with whom you have a good relationship, don't lose them. Try to find ways of working and cooperating together. Yes, of having your costs lower, but still working with them. And this is exactly the path that we found. Because when you have a good manufacturer with whom you have an established relationship, established communication, they already know what you want. This is a gold mine, right? Because teaching new people of how you think, of how you need things, it's very hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of your nerves. So when we went with the samples and the prices of the competitors to the original manufacturer, they're like, usually when you go to them, they say, oh, no, you know, the Chinese always say, oh, no, you know, their quality is bad. Our quality is good. That's why our price is higher. But we showed them the samples from the competitor. They're like, we'll get back to you tomorrow. Okay. They get back to us tomorrow, and the total order value decreased from 240,000 to 170,000. That's a lot of saved money, right? And this is just for one order. Imagine if you place this order 4 or 5 or 6 times a year. This is a lot of savings. So this is exactly the point. Even let's say you decided to manufacture pencils. I like pencils. I bought a pencil the other day. I'm preparing for my German exam, and I couldn't find a pencil at home. So I was so happy, like, I'm buying a pencil. So pencils, right? Let's say you're going to your manufacturer, you're searching for pencils in order to sell them. There are many different countries where you can produce this. You can produce this in China, you can produce this in India, in Germany, and in Thailand, and even in Indonesia. So let's say you got a price of 10 cents. Wouldn't you try and negotiate them down to a lower 8 cents versus 10 cents? Of course. And this is where a lot of people get uncomfortable, especially if you're new to the e-commerce world, if you're new to sourcing. But I will teach you a little bit later of how to understand how much you can push and what you can do in order to push on those points. So there are, people would say there are many different types of sourcing. Honestly, there are only a few types of sourcing kind of available to you. It's all the basics. You can do subcategories of subcategories, but that's just making people more confused. You have direct sourcing. So basically when you are going to manufacture and you are manufacturing under different models, there is a private label, there is white label, there is OEM, original equipment manufacturer, ODM, original design manufacturer, right? So those are the things when you're trying to make something really unique. Maybe you're opening up your own mold, or you're completely developing a new product. But basically, there is direct manufacturing. You go to the factory, make my product. Awesome, good, we manufacture. 2, drop shipping. Drop shipping, for a few years, I thought the drop shipping was dead. But drop shipping is alive and kicking and going like crazy. There are more and more companies popping up all across the globe that are offering drop shipping. Because before it was only China. You could go on AliExpress. You could integrate AliExpress with your website. So when somebody places an order on your website, it directly goes to AliExpress and they ship it out. So you kind of don't really do anything except finding the original manufacturer. So that's drop shipping, right? Wholesale is when you're buying products from distributors or from wholesale dealers, let's call them this way. So a lot of people also on Amazon, they sell products through Amazon, like Amazon arbitrage, or they purchase the products in US especially. They go to Target, they go to Walmart, they buy a case of, I don't know, socks of a famous label, famous brand. They put it on Amazon and they sell it there. Personally, I don't like this model. I like people who try to bring innovation. even if they take a product that is already on the market, but they try to figure out how to make this product better, how to make sure that the customer is happy with this and that I improve their life, even if it just makes them, you know, smile. So these are kind of the biggest things in sourcing. So it's not complicated. Private and white label, they differ a little bit. White label is basically you go and pretty much purchase what the manufacturer has without any changes, right? And a lot of people do this on the initial stages of sourcing. And if you don't have too many funds, this might be a good option for you. So in this case, white labeling, you can work with manufacturers or you can work with trading companies. A lot of people say, oh, trading company, bad, don't work with them. And I'm saying anything can be good or bad. It depends what is the situation. Again, let's say I would like to sell these headphones, but I don't have too many funds. I want to do, let's call it A/B testing, right? When you're testing an app. But I can, you know, if I go and I want to do directly private label with my brand saying YB exclusive or something like this, right? This will be a lot more expensive because I will need to purchase more units. Whereas with white label or going to a trading company, you will be able to buy whatever is in stock, so to speak, and it will be fast purchase, fast shipping, so you will be able to test out the product faster. So for people who don't have too many funds and they're still developing on their ideas, maybe you have the money, but you're still developing on your ideas, I suggest to go with white label. So you go, you purchase from the factory, even in a factory box. You start selling on Amazon, you see how this goes. If you see positive dynamics, then you say, now I can turn this into a brand because now it kind of responds to me. And you can redo the packaging, etc., etc. It will be the same product. It will be the same SKU. It will be the same GS1 code, barcodes, everything. So you won't need to change anything. You will just adjust your photos and that will be it. It will be a more unique product later on. So this is one of the tips and tricks that we sometimes suggest people to do, especially when they're starting out and they're still kind of, you know, feeling it out. Oh, do I want to sell headphones or do I want to sell a teacup, right? Because sometimes we have so much information that it's sometimes very hard to take the decision. A very, very important thing to consider in sourcing is a landed cost. A lot of people, they underestimate the power of this particular cost. And because of this, I see a lot of sellers, not only on Amazon, but on e-com in general, who actually calculating their profits wrong. A lot of sellers, they don't understand the full COGS, the cost of their products. They don't understand fully what is included in their landed cost. And due to this, at the end, they're breaking even. You're starting your business not to break even. You want to have a business on the side or as your main job because you want to make money. You want to grow, you want to develop, you want to travel, buy property, I don't know, buy cotton candy, it doesn't matter. But you're in it to make money. So you need to make sure to not be afraid to look at everything, at all of the data that you're receiving. I give you a very good example. There is this person that I know, he sells on Amazon in Europe. Last year, he made about 2 million euros in revenue. 2 million euros. Oh! I'm like, okay, you made 2 million. I don't care. How much do you have left at the end? This is what I care about. How much is your margin? And this is when the person goes from happy face of 2 million euros to, I gotta go. I don't want to talk about it. Well, at the end of the day, this person who made 2 million in revenue, the money that he actually got out for himself was about 50 or 55,000. And I told him, so what is the point of you doing this business when you're making less money than if you went and you have been a managing director for some larger company in Europe and you would have made 200,000 euros clean? So you really need to look at your costs. And this is why landed cost is absolutely vital, not only for your calculations of profit, but for where you're going to source your product. We all know, well, I hope you guys know that there has been a trade war between China and the United States. And because of this trade war, United States has been bringing up a lot of different taxes for the products that come from China. And they will continue doing so. So the original taxes up to 25% on a certain selection of products, which is thousands of goods actually. It has been implemented more than a few years back by now by Trump. The second set is going to come into effect on August 1st this year, so in 1 month. They've been implemented by Biden. Most of them, they are related to different EV products, so electric cars and things like this, chargers for electric cars, which a lot of people sell. And Trump said if he's going to get reelected, that he will install a 10% import tax for each and every item that comes out of China. So on top of the normal import tax, he wants to add another 10%. And he said that, oh, by the way, but for some of the products, I want to do up to 60%. That's it, right? You can't sell on Amazon unless you're a factory yourself. All the costs are going to go up. And this is why we're looking at the landed costs when we try to identify the country in which we want to do sourcing. Because the landed cost, as you probably already read it 10 times over, because I've been talking for a while, it includes the purchasing price, shipping costs, insurance, custom duties, taxes. Taxes usually, here we consider in VAT, value added tax, which is usually returned to you by the government because it's a business kind of tax. Handling fees, so at the port, Amazon, etc., and anything else up until the moment that the product kind of gets to the final destination, right? So to your customer. So landed cost is very important because if you are an Amazon seller who sells in US and you have a product that you would like to manufacture, you need to consider the import tax. So you need to understand with which countries does US have a free trade agreement, right? Or trade agreement in general. For example, if you buy from Europe, most of the products, not most, but a lot of products that you would manufacture in Europe and ship to the United States, the import tax will be 0, which is awesome. The shipping time is shorter. Amazing. So your financial situation is a lot better. So when we're doing sourcing, the first thing we look at is what is the product, right? Let's say the product is this notebook, okay? Where do we sell the product? United States. We directly think, and you can Google all of this information, right? Every product that needs to be shipped internationally has, well, even locally, has an HS code. But HS code, like harmonized code, harmonized system, it is applied to products that are shipped internationally. So we think, okay, this notebook, go on Google, paper notebook, HS code. Okay, you find the HS code. Import tax paper notebook, and you can put HS code. All of this done in Google in a matter of seconds. And you can find out what is the import tax for this. Let's say we found out and it's additional 25%, and we say, holy crap. Okay, so where else can I produce this notebook? Notebook. made out of paper. Okay, in which countries is paper produced? We go to Google, we go to ChatGPT, top manufacturing countries of paper in the world, right? From that, you can narrow down the countries, and you can also see, let's say one of the countries that is actually the fact, like this notebook used to be produced in China, now it is produced in India and in Turkey because of the import tax. So you found that India is one of the countries who produces a lot of paper, and you can type in Google, import tax notebook, India to US. You see the numbers, you compare. All of this is done easily within minutes, and you have a clear understanding of what your potential target country can be. So don't always only look at China, because people say, oh, source in China, because that's the only thing they know. We need to understand that the countries who are heavy on use of machinery will have better economies of scale. To make it more clear, the more machinery you have in the factory, the cheaper the production of the product will be, because it is less maintenance, you spend less money on it, etc., etc. In any company across the globe, the highest costs that companies incur are on FTEs, on full-time employees, on people. So the more labor intensive the manufacturing is, the higher your costs can be, and you cannot stretch your economies of scale. So you can't lower your costs down as much as you would with the machinery. So you need to look at the landed cost in total in order to identify what is the best country for you to source and to make sure that you're actually making money. Okay, to the actual main point of how to find manufacturers. Honestly, there are many, many different ways. And of course, one of the first ways to mention, if you're just starting with sourcing and you're trying to kind of test out the waters and you're trying to get a little bit of experience, use Alibaba, right? Alibaba, how Alibaba likes to say it, always Alibaba.com, right? With the full name. So use Alibaba because it might give you a little bit of training of how to communicate with manufacturers and potentially what questions to ask if you don't know what questions to ask. So other than Alibaba, there are more than 50 other platforms across the globe that you can use. For example, in Indonesia, there is this cool platform called Buy Me Up. Very, very good guys. It's a startup. They've been working on this for a little bit over a year, and they're trying to onboard a lot of local Indonesian manufacturers. There is Thomasnet in US. There is WLW in Germany. There is India Markt in India. There is Europages in Europe, and many more, right? Again, you can Google for those things. Sometimes they're not so clear or easy to find, but they're there. One of the things I do like is for sure sourcing trips. Sourcing trips to, I don't know, to other countries. A lot of people start with the sourcing trips to China, for example, during the Canton Fair, and we were talking about this before, because you go there, you experience overload of extremely advantageous information. You go, you talk to manufacturers, you get inspiration, you talk to other people, to other sellers. It's insane, right? So sourcing trips is definitely a good way of not only finding a manufacturer for yourself, but also finding a additional motivation and lots of additional information that can be useful for you. Social media. I bet that each and every one of you uses some sort of social media, right? We got YouTube, we got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got Telegram, we got plenty more, right? In Asia, we also have like Weibo, WeChat, Weixin, this is in China, and a few other platforms. So those places are actually kind of really good for finding manufacturers. And the reason is very easy, because all of us companies, different type of companies, were using social media to promote ourselves. Unfortunately, not all of us, but a lot of us, and many, many more people are joining into this. So if I'm going somewhere, or I just in general want to promote my business, like we're posting on Instagram, right? We're like, oh, here Signify does this and that, etc., etc. So, and a lot of companies, they're also releasing YouTube videos showing what are they producing. So as easy as this, you can go on YouTube and type in manufacturer wood products India and see what comes up. So honestly, this is, it's not the easiest way, but it is a way of finding manufacturers without basically leaving your home and going to another country. A very cool way, which can be a little bit more expensive or completely for free, which of course everybody prefers the second option, is trade shows. So in our introduction video, you saw that we go to trade shows in Indonesia as well, because I told you Indonesia is a very growing market. We have a lot of customers for whom we're producing there specifically because of craftsmanship, potential opportunities, and the development. So you can go to trade shows. You guys are mostly, most of you, I assume, are located in Asia. So you got Indonesia, you got China, Malaysia, etc., etc. You can also go to Europe, right? That one is a little bit more complicated. But what if you don't have the time, or you don't want to invest those funds, right? To go to the trade show to meet those people. Easy. Find the trade show online. Go on their webpage and look through the list of exhibitors. If they haven't announced a trade show for this year, the next one upcoming, they will still have a list of the participants from a trade show from last year. That's it. You have a list of each and every manufacturer, service for each and every exhibitor who was or who will be at that particular trade show. And you can whether click through it and see who is there, because usually there are categories by which you can divide and things like this. Or you can download one of the programs online, like aggregators or the extraction tools that will extract this data and make it into a list for you, saying company name, email, and like what is their category, right? This might be a little bit easier and faster, so you can filter. So this is definitely one of the things. References and local connections. Don't discount who you know, or who your friend of a friend of a friend of a friend might know. I found some amazing manufacturers for us because of a friend of a friend of a friend who has no relation or connection to manufacturing whatsoever. But if you're talking to one, let's say you called up a manufacturer of pencils in Germany, right? And this person tells you, I am sorry, but we don't produce pencil, we produce only pen. Yeah. Okay. You have two choices. You can, and I'm sorry for imitating German. My husband's German, so I'm allowed to make a little bit of fun of them. So they only produce pens, right? So what can we do? We have two choices. You hang up, or you say, okay, if you don't produce, do you know anybody who does? Can you give us any names, recommendations? Maybe you can even make a connection for us on WhatsApp, or just give us a name or a phone number. So on a lot of occasions, this one question can completely change the trajectory of your search and help you find a very useful manufacturer. Again, going through this, like we can go through like step by step of literally showing what to do, but that's a whole other webinar. That's a masterclass of just how to find a manufacturer. So let's say you kind of found a manufacturer, or you're trying to still find a manufacturer. There are many different things that you actually need to consider. Means of contact. So every country is very, very unique. And it's even within one country, you can have different means of communication depending on where in the country people are located. But we need to understand, for example, in Indonesia, if I want to get in touch with anybody, WhatsApp will be, I will find a phone number I will probably won't even call. I will just add the number in my phone, and I will contact them by WhatsApp. For me, this would be because I know that that's what works for Indonesia. If I want to get in touch with somebody in Germany, I would never send an email because they don't look at emails. Some of those companies, they don't even have access to their emails anymore because the last time they updated their website was about 25 years ago. So you need to understand the means of communication for the manufacturers for the country where you're searching. Again, very easily done. Go on Google, type in how do people communicate in, or what do people use for communication in Austria, in China, etc., etc. A few seconds, you're done. Working with sourcing agents and agencies and companies. It's a good idea. It can be a bad idea as well. If you don't have control over your manufacturer, it's a bad idea. In my playbook, the person should always have control over the manufacturing processes and should directly be in touch with the manufacturer. We as Amazon sellers, as e-commerce sellers, on a lot of occasions, we have very little control of whatever is freaking going on in this world, and Amazon increases the fees and this and that. So I think having control over your manufacturing facility, having that partnership, building this relationship, it's not only about control, but about building this relationship is extremely important. So if you want to work with a sourcing agent who says, I will not give you a contact of the factory, do not work with this agent because their English might not be so good, or any other language, depending on which country you want to source your product in. And you have a middleman that sometimes can be hindering your progress rather than advancing it. So offers versus reality in production. Please, please, please make sure that you always get a sample before going into mass production. It's a basic thing, but I've seen some very big sellers who don't do this. And I'm like, how did you survive on Amazon? Please always get a sample, and please always make sure to check quality in the mass production. This can save you a lot of grief. Again, I can just make a whole webinar just talking stories. A story. A friend of ours, he did sourcing on his own. He received samples. The sample was perfect. It was the best sample in the world. He went into mass production, and he was too cheap to spend $300 on quality control for mass production. The total amount he paid for his products was a little bit over 100,000 euros. When the products arrived and they started selling over Amazon, he started receiving a lot of negative reviews. So the products were not good. So what the sample was perfect, the mass production was far from perfect. The factory said, oh, no, because he had the wrong contract with them. So in addition to losing time, he lost the whole 100 grand or over 100,000. He needed to take all of the products out of Amazon. And every time you take product out of Amazon, you got to pay fee to Amazon. So he spent additional money on this. And because the product included an electronic component, he needed to pay additionally for the disposal of the products, I think like 20,000 euros additionally to dispose out of it in a proper way. So $300 he saved. He thought he lost literally over 150,000 euros in total. So please always check quality control. Our factory, with whom we work for over 7 years in China, we do quality control every single time. Not because we don't trust the factory. We don't trust the workers. The workers change all the time. The management stays the same, but the workers change all the time. That means the workers, they need to be trained. They need to learn and understand. They will make mistakes. So you got to check on that. One of the very important things is you need to understand where the product is actually made. Sometimes when you call companies in the United States, so guys, you manufacture in US, yeah, we sell from US. No, where is your factory located? We will ship the goods from the United States. Dude, where is your manufacturing facility located? Well, it's actually in China. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. And you can actually see this. So when normally for most of the products, if they're not too complicated, the manufacturing, the production time is kind of the same. Let's say 30 days. When the factory in the United States, or actually anywhere in the world, they tell you the manufacturing time is 8 weeks or 12 weeks, you're like, okay, that's not correct. That means they probably manufacture for 30 days in China, plus they ship for 40 days, and this is where you come up with this number. So when somebody gives you a way too long lead time, manufacturing time, you need to question this. You need to understand, why is this, right? Because if you have a product that sells very well, you need to make sure that you order in proper times as well, and that you need to have money for this. One of my favorite things is when you're working with the factory, please don't marry a stranger. That is very simple thing. Your relationship with the factory is an actual relationship, and this is something that you should build. You should build a long-term relationship, and it should be based on mutual respect and compromise, right? Some of you might be married or have a boyfriend or girlfriend, so sometimes you gotta admit, I am wrong, you were right. Of course, women are never wrong, but that's a different story. But yes, you need to have that compromise, and you need to build that relationship. One of the things that manufacturers like to hear is when you tell them, I want, like, imagine you guys, you're a manufacturer and I'm communicating with you. We're already working together for some time, and I want a cheaper price, right? So if I'm gonna say, look, we've been working with you for 5 years, it's time for us to renegotiate, I want a better price. You as a manufacturer, like, crap, now I'm gonna have lower margins, I'm gonna make less money, I can't buy another Bentley or another house in Bali or something like this. So you need to come towards it from kind of a different perspective. Look, we've been working together for a long time. I know we can have a better price, but I also don't want you as a manufacturer to lose money. I want you to make as much money as you're making right now or more. So let's sit down together and take a look, for example, at the BOM, at the bill of materials, and see where we can cut our costs, but so our margins will stay the same, if not be higher. So the total cost in production will be lower, but we're still making at least the same amount of money. So you need to tell your manufacturers that I want you to make money. I want you to be happy. I want to make sure that you're not losing, because this is business and we should both benefit. Another thing are your MOQs and payment terms, right? Don't pay 100% in advance. 20, 30, 50%. Different countries have different rules for your deposit. We usually start negotiations, even if it's a small order. Even if your first order was for $1,000, we would still start negotiating better payment terms already on the second order, trying to get you better, or you should try to get yourself better payment terms. A lot of people think, oh, but my order is so small, I have nothing to offer, they wouldn't be interested. What are you going to lose if you're going to try this out? Absolutely nothing. Asking the manufacturer in a nice, calm way and explaining to them, hey guys, this and that, maybe, because my turnaround is not as fast, so I need a little bit more financial stability. Talking to them openly and honestly and explaining the situation. If this gives you an advantage, why not do this? A lot of people, they become too shy. Oh, but I'm so small. Nobody is small. You need to try. If the manufacturer says no, okay, then you tried your best, and next time you will try again and again and again. So don't be afraid to talk to the manufacturer and actually ask for things, because a lot of people don't. Yeah. So one of the things you definitely need to make sure before you work with the manufacturers is to understand who they actually are. So there are ways to verify the factories, right? To make sure that they're legit. So you look at their financial data, you look if they've been sued, you look if they paid their taxes, who their shareholders are, etc., etc. But for this, you kind of need access to their back-end databases for which you need to pay. So in order to avoid this, there are a few things you can do on your own when you're talking to the factory. You need to ask how old the factory is, what are their plans for the future? So what do they want to do? How much have they grown in the years since their establishment? Are they going to venture in new products? Are they increasing their R&D development? Things like this. What are their capacities? Capacities are important because you need to understand if you're selling very well and you need to produce more and more and more, that the factory is able to hold your capacities, right? This is very important because it happens a lot more than you think, that people, it's kind of, blows up and people sell like crazy. You need to understand who is managing the factory and if this person is present and if you can converse with this person. Talking to the boss always makes a difference. When you see a person face to face, even over Zoom, it is extremely advantageous because they feel that you are real, and it's psychologically makes them feel calmer and makes them feel like you're not a scammer. You need to understand how many people they have at the factory, how many production lines. Future plans, I already said. Please always request them company documents, right? Let's say it's a Chinese factory that you found on Alibaba. You're requesting the company documents and they're all in Chinese. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? Easy. First things first, maybe take your phone, go on Google Translate, take a photo with Google Translate and see what this thing says. If it still doesn't make any sense to you, go on Upwork, or maybe you have a Chinese friend who can help you out and read this thing. If not, go on Upwork, hire someone for $5 or $10 who can tell you what the heck is written in this document and if it's still valid, right? And this can go for any language. This gives you a little bit more reassurance on the verification of the company, that it's valid and it's good and they're not going to take your money and run away. We had this happen. It's very important when you're doing sourcing, especially outside of China, to explain your business to your partner. When we found our manufacturer for our second product is skincare. It's bio aloe vera skincare for men, specifically for men, manufactured in Germany. When we found our manufacturer, we actually met because we live in Germany. And we started talking to him. Yeah, we're going to sell on Amazon. He's like, Amazon? You can sell on Amazon? We're like, yeah. He's like, well, okay, how much are you going to sell for? We're like, well, we're going to sell for like 40 euros. He's like, what? And you're manufacturing for 5? You're going to make so much money. I'm going to increase your costs. We're like, whoa, dude, wait. Here is Amazon. Here's how much we're going to sell for. Here is Amazon FBA fee. Here's how much we're probably going to spend on advertising. Here's how much we're going to invest into photos, videos, listing, He's like, so at the end, he actually understood what are our margins and how much money we're actually going to be making. So he is on the same level as you are at that moment. And a lot of people, they don't know actually that you can sell on Amazon or Rakuten or Lazada or any other platforms. They don't have that understanding. So if you tell them, I'm going to sell there, here are my goals, here is my business plan, here is my plan of growth, the manufacturer will have an idea that you guys want to be partners, right? That you want to work together long term. And this gives them an opportunity to respond to you in kind. I'm not saying become best friends with the manufacturer, but I'm saying have that mental and business connection, that they understand your business and you understand theirs. Because in this case, they will be a lot more reciprocative to your requests for different things. we found this extremely helpful for ourselves and for our customers. It is very important for manufacturers in today's day and age to understand what else can they get in addition. I'm placing an order. This should be enough. I'm giving you money. This is not enough anymore. This is a competitive market, and very good manufacturers are kind of hard to find. So when you find them, you want to make sure to explain to them that, guys, I want to have a long-term relationship. I want to grow together with you. So let's sit down, make a plan, what future products we can develop together, etc., etc. On later stages. But you can always also mention this in the beginning. Do we still have time, or am I running out? I'm not sure.
We still have time, Julia.
Okay, I think I only have like one or two slides just related to this. So we know the world is like, right? There's politics. I'm Russian. My country attacked another country. We have problems in the Red Sea. There are many different problems happening across the globe. There's political instability. There's war, Trump, and other taxes. Long shipping. Please be prepared. If you are manufacturing in China and you're shipping in US, the prices have already went up to about $7,000 to $8,000 for a 40 high cube container to ship from China to US. And the predictions are saying that it's going to get up to 20,000. So we're going to go back to the levels that were during the Corona pandemic. The reasons for this, it's a long story, but so far everybody says, the prices for shipping are still going to go up. Long financial turnaround is one of the biggest problems for Amazon or any other seller. Let's say you're manufacturing in China and you're selling in US. From the point you start looking for the supplier, that means you need to find the supplier, get the sample, place an order for mass production, ship the product, receive the product, start selling. Normally, let's say, this will take about 3 months until you start getting your money back. Meaning for 3 months, you invested money into manufacturing, into everything. And like 3 months later, you're starting to get your money back. This is a very long period of time, especially if you're just starting out, right? So one of the things to consider is nearshoring, meaning to try and manufacture products in a country that are located close to a country where you sell. So let's say you're selling in the United States, nearshoring would be switching your manufacturing from China to Mexico. And here is an example of this actually being done. So this thingy, right, it's a child standing tower. So if you like your kids and your kids like you, and you want to cook something together in the kitchen, you put this in the kitchen, the kid climbs and you do things together. So this person, this cost that I'm showing here, this is just the purchasing price. This is not a landed cost, right? About which we talked so much. So the person, this is not the actual listing. This is just an example of a listing. But they purchased this product for $37 in China. They wanted to see what other options they have in terms of prices, shipping, and import taxes, etc., etc. So I just listed kind of the purchasing prices that we found: $41 Turkey, $43 Poland, $47 in Mexico, and $35 in Bulgaria. Right? You got everything, and you would think, oh, Bulgaria is the cheapest, let's go there. Woo! No. As we said, right, we need to consider manufacturing time, lead time, shipping costs, import tax, etc., etc., etc. So the customer ended up actually going with Mexico, the most expensive product for $47, but the manufacturing time was about 2 to 3 weeks. The shipping was about 1 week. So from the point that the customer actually started the manufacturing to the customer started getting his money back, it's 1 month. This is a very good turnaround. And because of this, it helped them grow, meaning more people started, they invested more in advertising and this and that. More people started buying their product. So they had to increase their quantities for manufacturing, and the price went down from $47 to $43. right? So they already had a good margin, but now they have even better. So this is definitely something to consider with current political situation. And again, it's very important to look at the landed cost, but it's also very important to look at your financial turnaround. Can you sustain yourself and your business whilst the products are being manufactured and shipped and until they start selling? Yeah, I think for that one, it's terima kasih. If you guys have any questions, you can ask some questions. Again, there is a lot more information to share because we were also supposed to cover how to find the best-selling product and a few other things. But even here, I kind of went through relatively fast because this is a very, very big topic to cover. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. You can also find me on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, it's my name like here in Zoom. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Julia. It's very thorough, even though it's very basic maybe to some of the students here, but it's okay. I think we get to learn a lot. Even myself, I was jotting out down notes. So yeah, I agree with Julia. Basically, I just a little bit summarize. Basically, for me too, is actually lead time. Yeah, my problem is actually lead time and financials. Basically, cash flow. Because my ordering is about 2 to 3 months, my lead time. So most of my stuff is actually from China, and I started actually sending items from Indonesia, and the lead time is even worse from Indonesia because of the shipping. So for me, cash flow is kind of tight, basically, on my end to selling on Amazon myself. Yeah, but maybe if the students here, if you have any questions, you can type. Maybe
so,
I can just
for people like you, so there for those of you who are sourcing from China, you might potentially, or you yourself, Christina, might potentially know Sinosure. Do you know about Sinosure?
No.
So Sinosure, it's like everything in China. It's a government-owned organization, and this government-owned organization basically they give out loans to the factories for your manufacturing, etc., etc. It's a little bit longer process because it's the government, and you gotta have like very minimum, like high minimums, etc., etc. But basically, it's kind of a financing company that is located within China. I know some people who are using it, but they're larger companies. However, there is this new company that I know, and I dropped the link for them. They're called Stan Financing, and they are working in like on the financing of the invoices, right? Okay. So, and they have very, very good terms, and even further, it's the contract. What they do, they have like different types, but one of the type of financing they have is between the manufacturer and them. So you go to your manufacturer and say, guys, I want to place an order, but my financial situation, blah, blah, something like this. You introduce them to Stan, and they agree, and the factory is the one who's kind of paying the money back to them, right? They get the money from them, and then they get you. It's a long story, but this is a good company. If you need financing, this is like a good company to look at, and Sinosure as well. Yeah.
But how about the rates, Julia? Is it okay?
It's low, and the rates, the repayment, the interest rates are low. They're the lowest on the market, and also this company. For those of you who know anything about the world of investment, there is BlackRock. BlackRock is the top investment company in the world. So these guys, they're actually backed up by BlackRock.
Oh, I see. Perfect. Yeah, and I know BlackRock because I was actually in the financials before in the United States, Julia. So yeah, so I kind of know all the big guys. But anyways,
sorry. And the cool thing is with this company, they don't only support financing on the Chinese manufacturers, but India, Indonesia, like globally, right? So that's a cool thing.
Okay, so maybe I can say in Indonesia right now, just bear with us ya, Julia. Jadi selamat malam Bapak Ibu. Jadi mungkin sudah dijelaskan sama Julia bagaimana kita bisa cara sourcing ya. Ini hari memang kalau kita lihat secara simple, emang topik-topik yang Julia bahas itu benar-benar very basic, tapi daging banget ya Bapak Ibu. Saya sendiri udah jot down a lot of information yang saya dapat sendiri ya, cara gimana komunikasi, kita harus QC, kapan kita harus QC, lead time yang dibahas sama Julia itu penting banget ya. Terus tentang payment terms, kita gimana kita negosiasi, biarpun kita small sellers, mungkin kita baru beli mungkin 500 unit, pun kita juga tetap harus negosiasi payment terms-nya. Dengan yang tadi yang saya rasa, yang tentang verify factory. Kita tiap kali juga bahas ini di kelas, gimana kita harus verify supplier-nya kita. Yang seperti tadi Julia udah bahas lebih in-depth lagi, itu yaitu kita bisa bayar nih sebetulnya ke perusahaan-perusahaan untuk cek supplier ini seberapa mutunya sih. Jadi mungkin dan sudah dari pajaknya, apakah sudah pernah ada langgaran sendiri dari suppliernya, terus mungkin udah berapa pegawai suppliernya sendiri. Dengan kita juga bisa bayar perusahaan untuk melihat financial dari suppliernya kita. Jadi itu benar-benar very useful ya Bapak Ibu ya. Dan yang paling penting yang tadi saya sendiri nangkep ya, atau mungkin very useful for me, itu adalah lead time yang tadi Julia bahas. Dengan intinya biasanya kan banyak sekali perusahaan-perusahaan bilang, oh lead time-nya itu sekitar 3 bulan. Kenapa bisa 3 bulan? Kita harus ada tanya juga. Kenapa? Soalnya biasanya itu lead time itu biasanya kalau factory seberapa rame pun itu sekitar 2-4 minggu. Itu yang kita bilang standar. Tapi kalau umpamanya lead time-nya tiba-tiba 3 bulan, ya itu Bapak Ibu harus tanda tanya juga. Kenapa bisa lead time-nya banyak? Yang seperti tadi Julia bilang, bisa aja dia manufacture-nya itu di China. Tapi mereka lempar lagi contohnya ke Indonesia, baru nanti jual lagi ke Amerika. Jadi maka dari itu lead time itu bisa lama banget. Jadi kita harus mempertanyakan dulu juga kalau lead time itu lama sekali. Dengan yang paling penting itu adalah yang setiap kali saya bahas ke murid-murid, yaitu long financial turnover. Itu yang tiap kali saya bilang, kenapa saya baru memulai jual produk-produk Indonesia, soalnya turnover rate-nya itu kalau dari Indonesia kirim ke Amerika itu jauh dan lama sekali. Maka dari itu kalau kita mau jual barang Indonesia, kita udah harus siapkan dana yang jauh lebih banyak daripada kita jual mungkin barang yang lebih dekat. Seperti tadi Julia bilang, dia juga jual barang-barang yang seperti di Meksiko jauh lebih dekat. Maka dari itu biarpun lebih mahal, yang penting lead time-nya dikit atau pendek, yang penting ada cuannya, ya kita masih bisa jualan. Yang paling penting adalah hitung profit ya. Jadi landed cost itu penting banget Bapak Ibu ya. Itu yang tiap kali kita bilang, kita masukin kita ke profitability calculator kita, dan kita harus ada ROI berapa persen, profit margin kita berapa persen, itu kita harus kuasain dengan jelas ya Bapak Ibu ya. Itu sih, jadi itu singkat yang tadi saya sudah summarize apa yang kita dapat malam ini ya. Jadi mungkin kalau di sini ada Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan, bisa langsung drop di chat di bawah ini ya Bapak Ibu ya, mungkin bisa mulai tanya, atau mungkin kalau ada yang mau nanya langsung juga mungkin bisa ya. Kalau malu bisa ketik, kalau mau langsung raise hand ya mungkin kita bisa kasih pertanyaan ke Julia ya Bapak Ibu. Jadi ini rare opportunity ya Bapak Ibu ya, kalau Bapak Ibu ada bisa langsung mau nanya, jangan malu-malu lagi ya. Jadi mungkin for now ya Firda, mungkin kita bisa kasih some games atau questions ya, mungkin supaya murid kita bisa dapat some new seller up tumbler atau mug ya hari ini ya, yang kita bakal bagi-bagi ke staff kita, ke student kita.
What do you get if you win?
Oh, I think we're gonna give like a mug or tumbler, our seller up. I mean, we just get it from China. I don't know what's today's yeah, it's just for 2 students. Anyways,
okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Whoever wins, they can have also a 1-hour communication with me, and we can talk about their sourcing and what to do, and if they have a problem as well.
Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu, jadi Julia udah tambahin lagi hadiahnya. Buat yang Bapak Ibu bisa jawab ini, bisa langsung unmute atau raise hand ya, atau mungkin langsung aja. What are the types of sourcing? Yang jadi Bapak Ibu bisa langsung ngomong. Mungkin di sini saya lihat ada banyak familiar names ya. Jadi ayo mungkin bisa ikutan jawab ya. Dan bisa pertama dapat hadiah dari seller up, dan kedua tentunya dapat 1 hour free consultation directly langsung sama Julia ya.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening.
Oh, hi Pak Lukas ya.
Jadi my name is Ruth.
Oh, Ruth. Oh, hi, Bu Ruth. Yeah, hi, Bu Ruth. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. Sorry, ya
Um,
tadi.
I'd like
Yeah.
to-
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Julia and Miss Christina, to have this Zoom. Okay, I would like to answer about the what types of sourcing. We have three type of resourcing. One is direct. It is like private or wide products. And then the second one, drop shipping, and the last one is wholesale. Am I correct?
Yes. Yay. Ya, jadi nanti Bu Ruth ya, we will contact you after the seminar. Ya, jadi basically after the webinar we will contact you and we'll give you contacts juga to Julia directly. You're gonna have your 1 hour session. Thank you, Julia, for the additional spontaneous gift for our students.
No problem. If I can help, look, this one of the things, if you don't mind me saying, guys, being an entrepreneur can be an extremely hard, extremely demotivating thing sometimes. You can go through depression, you can go through loneliness, through many of those things. You are part of the community. When I started on Amazon, it was just me and my husband. There was no community, there were no people, there were no Facebook group, there were no video, there was nothing. It was very lonely, and sometimes you would I just want to quit everything and dump everything. And I sometimes still meet people like this in the industry. Find sparing partners for yourself. Find people with whom you can not only talk about business, like even with people who are here, right? 29 of us, or how many, but you can also share some personal things like, you know what? I feel like giving up right now. I don't want to talk about anything. I'm so depressed. Just, talking to someone. This is extremely important. You need to make sure that you're not alone and push through with things. And trust me, things are going to get better. If you're putting the time in smartly, it will work. I see this all the time. You will have good days. You will have bad days. You need to be okay with this, because the good days will come again. That's it.
That's very nice said, actually, Julia, because I think most of our students here are entrepreneurs already. They're already selling in Indonesia. I think the next phase is they want to actually sell on Amazon, or even I said abroad, right? But that's really they need really high motivation, or from themselves, because it's really hard. Especially we are saying that we need to reach American market, right? So yeah, thanks for that, because a lot of our students sometimes they think that, oh, it's really hard, and they just want to give up easily. That's why we always try to push them a little bit, just whatever we can motivate them. That's why we have this little communicate.
Yeah, but one thing for everybody to remember: when you are happy, when you are comfortable in your business where you are not growing. You need to be uncomfortable. You need to be sometimes a little bit unhappy. You need to have like ants or itching or some. You need to be uncomfortable. Growth only happens when you're uncomfortable, because you're exploring something out of your comfort zone, and this is when you reach the next stage. I'm happy, but I'm constantly uncomfortable, because I want to reach new things. I want to reach new avenues in life, in personal and business. So be uncomfortable, get used to this, because it's a fun ride. It's as simple as that. But also have people in your life with whom you can talk.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next questions. Yeah. So basically, the second question of the day is, why is landed cost important? So maybe one of our students here maybe can answer, or maybe raise your hand. You can answer it directly. Unmute yourself. Anybody here?
Hello, good afternoon. Hi, Julia and Coach Christina.
Oh, hi.
Today. Yeah, I tried to answer the question with whether, I don't know if I'm correct or not, but why landed cost is important, because there's include a lot of things like purchase price, shipping costs. We have to count everything, including insurance, custom duties, taxes, handler's fee, and transportation before it gets to the customer.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. The most important that we also have to keep up is basically the profit margin. I mean, a lot of our students actually, they said, oh, it's okay, I'll just get maybe 10 or 20% ROI. It's okay. But in the end, because of the advertising or maybe they miscalculate the shipping, in the end, yeah, they are losing a few dollars of on each item. So that's not what we want here. I mean, we already put in so much effort to find a supplier, to find winning products, and then we already ship it, and then we already we said kita udah keluarin duit, we already take out a lump sum of our money from our pockets, right? So basically, all the hard work that we want, basically we want to have benefits, or we said profits towards what we already worked on. So yes, that's why landed cost is very important, yeah, Bapak Ibu, yeah. That's what. Thank you, Julia. I mean, we always taught this in class too, to our students. So, and you emphasize it again, like today. That's really good, because all we want to know, I mean, as an entrepreneur, is basically profits towards in the end, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I know some sellers who make $100 million per year, but when I talk to them, they say, like, when we're on a good friendship level, okay, I make 100 mil and my margin is 20%. So you can understand that how much the person is actually making, because then you understand how good they are at what they actually do, and if it's worth doing it.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, there are a few questions here, Julia. So basically,
no, we're talking. With Veli, Juliana, we're talking there. So no worries, all answered.
Oh, all answered. Okay, maybe here, if there's any direct questions to Julia, maybe you can unmute yourself and ask Julia. Or maybe if you can say it in Indonesia, I can also translate it to Julia. And anyway, yeah.
Don't worry, I don't fight, I have good lunch.
Yes, yes. Julia is a very nice person, yeah. So I want to go on her sourcing trip maybe next year, Julia. Or maybe Seller Up gonna join up with Signify. It's gonna be fun.
It is always fun. I'm all about food and business and food and fun, right? There should be a good mix of everything. So yeah.
Okay, there's Pa Billy here, Julia. Maybe you can just unmute yourself, Billy.
Okay, sure. Hi, hi, Yulia. I'm Billy. Actually, I'm just getting started, doing Amazon business too. Here's my mentor, Christina. She's helping me too, with the my Amazon thing. And then I just wonder, about this Amazon also going to global logistic shipment, right, program. And they're pushing really hard. Even in our shipment dashboard, they put like really highlight on that. And then what do you think of that impact to our COGS and everything, whether they got preference for the taxes and everything, because they are really put a special transportation channel, right, between China and later India, probably Vietnam later on, because there are so many global selling sellers over there too. So any comments?
100%. That's a very good question, Billy, because everybody who I know who tried AGL, Amazon Global Logistics, they stopped using it. I'm not saying it's bad, but they give you very, very, very good prices. They give you very good prices. How do they get to those prices, right? There's always a trade-off. So on a lot of occasions, unfortunately, what the people I know who have experienced it is that there were delays in the shipment. So let's say they would say, we're doing the shipment will take 28 days. But then they're like, yeah, the actual shipment takes 28 days, but then it will stay in the port in China for additional 10 days or 2 weeks, which they kind of don't tell you. So I don't see in general the problem with AGL, simply for the reason that currently there is a big crisis in shipping in general. This is what I skipped when I was talking. Why is there a crisis in shipping right now? First of all, we have the Red Sea problem, right? Because there's the war and the terrorists are blowing up ships. The recent one was just sunk last week. Panama Canal, when you go from the other side, from China to the west coast of US, Panama Canal, dry. The ships are going through, but the capacity has decreased by 60 to 70%. So you gotta land on the west coast and then do last mile trucking to east coast if necessary, right? Another very big problem is, which is weird, people would say, but bad weather in Southeast Asia. The bad weather, like Christina, you're in Guangzhou right now. I was in Guangzhou in April and in May for Canton Fair. I have never ever. I lived in China for 9 years. I have never seen such weather in China in my life.
Oh,
The lightning
yes.
was weird. The thunder.
yes.
There was a tornado next to Guangzhou. There were floods. It was insane. So the whole of
Yes.
Southeast Asia, the weather in the Q1, Q2 was very bad. Due to this, there was a delay in the way that ships went.
Okay.
The ships, let's say the ship goes from China through Suez Canal, stops in Europe, drops something off, goes on to US. On the way back, they pick up the containers, usually empty containers, to take them back to China. But this time they didn't, because they were already late for returning. So the containers, a lot of empty containers were left throughout the world. They didn't make it back to China. So there was a shortage of containers to where actually put your products. So to answer your question shortly, AGL is not a bad thing. I know people who are using it and some people are happy with it. But when you're a bigger seller and you are shipping by containers, I would probably suggest using some different forwarders, because AGL, or at least split your shipments. Ship some with AGL because of a cheaper price, but you're kind of thinking, oh, there might be a delay. And the other shipment ship with the company who's not going to wait for the cheapest option. AGL, they wait for the cheapest option. This is how they can give you the cheapest price. Again, not bad, but we've seen delays. That's the only problem we face so far.
Okay. Yeah, I myself actually tried AGL, Julia, but what I've seen is AGL. I tried one time. So basically, the more we say the more quantity is cheaper. But then if you send a little bit, not too much, it's not as cheap as what they offer. So that's why I told Billy advised me before, but that's why I already asked him to actually just use regular shipping company that we often use. Yeah, it's because of that too. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good insight actually. So Amazon didn't give you like a really accurate estimate delivery for it then. Oh yeah. Yeah, because of the cost probably.
Yeah.
Well, but thank you though for the insight also about the optimizing about where you're sourcing is really helpful too. Yeah, I'm actually optimizing my payment too here because I'm working for a payment company. So I'm also look out for all kinds of different payment to optimize cross-border payment especially. Yeah.
This one is also a big thing. Like you have Visa company, right? For example, a lot of people use Visa on their websites, on Shopify and things like this. But now you can see some of the top huge multinational corporations across the world. They said, we're not going to use Visa anymore because their fees are too high. It's as simple as that. One of the good payment providers is World First.
Oh,
World First. They are actually, if any of you watches football, they're one of the sponsors of Euro 2024, which is we have it in Germany. World First is actually owned by Ant, A-N-T, which is a huge company in China, which also owns Alibaba, which also owns Lazada. So World First is basically part of Alibaba. We can say it's not like that, but it's part of Alibaba. So they have a very good relationship with Alibaba, with 1688. They found ways how a lot of people also in China, they source from 1688. And the problem with which in Chinese is Yaoli Baba. So Alibaba, Yaoli Baba. So, but on 1688, most of the sellers, they only accept RMB. And a lot of people can't pay with RMB, but World First helps you with this. Because again, they're actually headquartered in Singapore, but they belong to the Chinese company, blah, blah. So Guangxi, right? Like in China, connections are important. So World First can be a good service provider in terms of payments worldwide. We're using them.
I'll look into that. Yeah, definitely. If you have a headquarter in China, I will definitely help, with the payment channel, especially. Yeah, Singapore, China is like the hub for payment.
They have exactly.
Services. Yes, really agree with that. Thank you for sharing, Yulia.
No problem. Any more questions? I see Lucas asked that we do Indonesia sourcing trip. We start off at Jakarta, we visit a few companies, and then we go through the whole of the province. We go through Yogyakarta and many other different places because we go through different factories. We usually attend the trade show in Jakarta at the time, and then we drive all throughout the island towards Bali. This is where we end up. So we visit on every trip, we visit different cities, multiple cities. The same way when we do our Canton Fair sourcing trip, we go to many different manufacturers, and we go to different manufacturers every time because we talk to the people, what they're interested in, and we try to tailor that to the people. Any more questions, or is everybody tired and wants to go to sleep?
Yeah. Yeah. So how, everyone here? If there's no more questions, maybe we can leave for one last questions for our students before we actually end our webinar tonight. Maybe, it's kind of long. It's already like 8:30 in Jakarta. It's actually at night now. Julia. So one last questions.
Hi. I would like to ask. So actually, I'm new. My name is Ruth. I'm totally new for this e-commerce, Amazon. Since the day one that we were thought about, okay, you want to sell to Amazon US market, then all stuffs that we can get, everything is provided by China. But you just explained us that like Mexico can be some, I would not say about the country, but it based on how far, how close, and what is the cost if we compare with China. So how can we start with this? Because for me, I would like to be honest. It will be very difficult even for me. It's contact to China. But what about the other country? Because we were explained as well that China, there is like a warranty from the government that there will be no fraud stuff within the process. So how to ensure that you can go to Mexico, you can go to India to get your products? Okay, I think that's all.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you for the question. Look, nobody can guarantee you or ensure anything 100%, and especially the government. If the Chinese will steal money from you, the government is not going to give it to you back. So what you need to ensure that when you're like I was explaining about getting the documents from the factory, right? And checking the documents as much as possible. So this is definitely a first step. Another step, I'm going to drop a link for you guys. Let me here. So this is a really cool website. I actually know the guy who created it. It's called, and it's not the only one out there, but this one has a lot of free functions. So this website is called Import Yeti. Okay, on this website, let's say you found a company in India and they say, oh, we're exporting to US. We have so many customers in there. Take their name, go to Import Yeti and see if you can find them there. And you can see who did they ship to, right? So it's not as complicated. It will take you not a very long time to get a hold of this tool. And again, they have a lot of functions in there for free that will help you in the basic stages. So if you've never done sourcing before, my suggestion is actually to start with China. because we need because you can still find tons of products in there that you can sell in US, and they will not have the Trump tax or anything else. Mexico is even harder to communicate than the Chinese guys. Mexicans, they barely speak any English, barely, okay? So with the China for the last 20 years, the government has been investing to build the roads, to build the railways, etc., etc., so people can buy, sell, manufacture. So if you are starting out, I think a good way to start is in China. But again, request the documents, ask them. One of the easiest things, if you're talking to a factory in China, right, you can give them a call on WhatsApp or on WeChat and say, hey, please, on your phone right now, turn on the video, take me through the factory. That's it. Take me through the factory, and you will see who are the people there, what are the conditions. You will see what are the products on the production line. Are there any famous brands in there? Ask them to show you a showroom on the video, right? And why I'm saying do a live video, because sometimes everybody lies, right? And the Chinese might lie as well. They might take some pictures and send them to you later, and they've never been to a factory, or they're an agent in between. So this is why I'm saying live videos. Hello, show me around. So these little tricks, right? So, but again, if you're starting out, I suggest China. Mexico will be hardcore. If you don't want to do China, you can still go to India. India, they speak English a lot more in comparison to Mexico. And if you want to find out which products this country produces, very easy. India, top exports. So you will find out what are the top exported products that India actually has. And it will be steel, it will be paper, etc., etc. And from there, you can dig a little bit deeper to get into details. I hope this helps.
May I ask again, you said about it is like a tool for importing. Is it same with the sourcing agent that you explained before?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay, I was wondering how to ensure about this factor in China. Then you said about the importing the tools. Is it the same with what you explained before about the sourcing agent?
Well,
the sourcing agent, like a company that can with
yes,
who can help you to get the document to.
Yes. So the source, like when people work with us, for example, we're the ones who verify the factories. We're the ones who make sure that the factory is solid, that they're not going to steal your money or anything like this. So in my opinion, if you're working with sourcing agent or agency, it is their job to do this. But I can't speak for other sourcing companies. You need to, if you work with somebody, you need to ask them, right? But like we do this because this is part of our job. For others, I can't speak, but I think they should do this because then otherwise, you know, if they give you a factory and the factory is not checked, then it's not a good factory, right?
Okay. Okay, thanks, Julia. Thanks.
No problem. What do I think about TikTok Shop or Temu platform regarding Amazon the US? Okay, so a few days ago, a news came out that Amazon is launching a new, not a new platform, but they're launching kind of a new, cheaper version of Amazon that will specifically compete with Temu. Currently, Temu is being, Shein, Amazon, and I talked to Shein in China. Their headquarters is in Guangzhou. I was in their office. Even Shein says Temu is bad. They're doing things illegal. So Chinese are talking about Chinese. They're like, Temu is a no-go, very bad. We don't like them, blah, blah. So Temu is dumping a lot of money. Temu is stealing listings from Amazon and putting them directly on Temu. Currently, Amazon is suing Temu for this specifically in the United States. In Europe, the European government is suing Temu as well. So, you know, we'll see how long their money will last. TikTok, to me, is not a competition that will take away from Amazon. TikTok is just a different medium for a different age group. All of the, not all, a lot of the customers that we have and a lot of the people I know, the ones who sell on Amazon, they start selling on TikTok shop as well. Not all of the products will be suitable for TikTok shop. So I would look at Temu. Again, I don't like them. And yes, they're taking away some of the sales, but it's for cheap products. Do you know the average order value on Temu? Christina, yes.
Team, yes, I know it's actually below $10, Julia.
It's $9.
Yeah, because
it's
I know. It's just the maximum is $10, and then now I think for Temu alone, if to the United States, because I know this, I tried the market, is at least $25. Before it's free shipping, Julia. Now at least $25, then you can get free shipping. But then you have to buy a lot of junk stuff to get to $25, and the stuff is really, really sorry to say, is actually trash. I mean, that's a very but the quality itself is horrible. So compared to Amazon, so I think Temu alone is not the I said direct competition to Amazon.
Yeah.
Even
people who bought cheap crap, they will keep buying cheap crap. There will always be those people, and they will go to Walmart, etc., etc. Amazon, a lot of people that I know, they start selling more expensive. Like people are coming to us, they're like, we don't want to sell anything under $50 anymore. I would rather sell less, but I will have better margins. I want products that have higher barrier to entry, so it's harder for competition to enter. People are getting away from the cheap crap. The cheap crap is being sold by the Chinese. So, and TikTok is a different medium. TikTok, I look at it as not as a supplement, in terms of as an additional thing rather than a substitute. So if you sell on Amazon, I do encourage you to venture out on TikTok, because you're covering an audience with a different age group. So Temu, they're there. Let's see how long they're gonna last, because remember, Wish was before Temu.
I know, right? It doesn't last long, right? Yeah, I know.
No.
So we'll see. But this Temu is very interesting. I mean, there's another, I think, a session we discuss about Temu, Julia. Yeah. But I talked to a few actually suppliers here that actually ship or make put their listings on Temu, and they said that the return rates is actually pretty high too.
It's very high, because their Temu is just changing their policy. I literally seen this 2 days ago, that will make it a little bit harder to give the returns. But in general, it's like easy, right? That's why people buy lots of crap and they return all of this. So you're not making any money, you're losing.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, they were actually complaining, but yeah, that's what you get. I mean, you produce quality crappy stuff, so no choice. I mean, no discussion there, right?
Exactly.
So so maybe before we end our webinar tonight, maybe if anyone, everybody here, maybe we can turn on our webcam and let's take a group photo, so we know who attend the webinar tonight. I mean,
and those who did not will be punished.
Yes, I won't help you on your Amazon. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm always here to help you guys, you know. Yeah, if anybody, you can actually direct message me, and we're always here to help. Like what Pabili said, I mean, Pabili is very hardworking student here, Julia. He always WhatsApp me. Yeah, even on weekends, I'm like, okay, I will reply you as soon as possible, because sometimes on weekends I have a family dinner or family lunch to attend to. So yes.
Yeah, but this is the point of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Like people asking me, when was the last time you had a vacation? I'm like, vacation where I didn't work even for 5 minutes, maybe 10 years. because I'm a business owner. I have
Yes.
responsibilities. So even 5 minutes every day, I will work. Easy.
Yes, I agree with you, Julia. Even here in China, actually, I'm here to meet suppliers and to accompany my mom to see a doctor, a Chinese doctor. But I'm still working, you know, I'm in here webinar and I have a lot, a few companies to run. So I'm always, replying messages or emails.
All right, so everyone is turning on the camera.
Yes.
All right, ready? Not everyone.
Ready.
All right, so I'm gonna say
Everybody.
one.
Yeah.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, cheers. Okay, one more. Right. So 1, 2, 3, cheers. Very good.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you everyone. Thank you ya semua Bapak Ibu yang udah datang di webinar malam hari ini. Nanti mungkin kalau Bapak Ibu pengen catch up, feel free ya. Yang tadi sudah menang, tadi mungkin Ibu Ruth sama Ibu siapa satu lagi ya? Tonli ya?
Yeah, yes.
Ya, Sunli nanti, nanti Firda please note, nanti kita bakal hubungin dan we will contact you directly and give your information to Julia so you can set up your 1 hour appointment. Thank you, Julia, for today.
No
and
problem.
We'll keep in touch. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.